Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj. Coming up in the next hour, India's External Affairs Minister S. Shankar upbeat about India-US ties, says Trump administration prioritizing the bilateral relationship, building on old foundations. In India's Maharashtra, at least 12 persons dead as passengers jump off Pushpak Express after rumour of a fire, run over by incoming Karnataka Express. US Congress approves Trump's promised crackdown on criminal migrant suspects. Aircrafts and 1,500 ground troops support being readied for deployment along the southern border. Thousands evacuated as new fast-growing fire ignites near Los Angeles. Weathermen warn of strong winds and dry, low humid conditions. And in sports, Abhishek Sharma's heroics lead India to a comfortable 7-wicket victory over England in the first T20 International of 5-match series. Wrapping up his US visit for taking part in President Donald Trump inauguration and Quad Foreign Ministers meeting, India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Shankar said that both countries are building on the bilateral relations on the basis of foundations laid in the past during Trump-1 tenure.
Administration was keen to have India present at the inaugural itself, and they're clearly prioritizing the bilateral relationship. Secondly, I think in the meetings I had, it was also evident that they would like to build on the foundation of the relationship, a foundation which the first Trump administration also contributed a lot to building. President Trump and Prime Minister Modi at that time took a number of initiatives, and we have seen that mature in many ways. And the third impression was with regard to the Quad. Again, a very strong sense that the current administration would reciprocate our desire as well.
While interacting with media in the USA capital, India's External Affairs Minister also said that India has always been against illegal migration but encourages legal movement of people, adding that both countries will work on it in a collaborative manner. He said that India will be ready to take back those illegal Indians whose identities have been proved.
We are also very firmly opposed to illegal mobility and illegal migration, because you also know that when something illegal happens, many other illegal activities get joined onto it. And it's not, this is not desirable, it's certainly not reputationally good. So we have, with every country, and the US is no exception, we have always taken the view that if there are any of our citizens who are not here legally, if we are sure that they are our citizens, we have always been, open to their legitimate return to India.
External Affairs Minister Shankar also shared his thought on immediate South Asian neighbours Pakistan and Bangladesh. On Bangladesh, he said that the issue of recent developments and situation came up for his discussion with the US Secretary of State Marco Rubio and US National Security Advisor Mike Waltz. On resumption of trade with Pakistan, he said that India had given most favoured nation and expected the same from Pakistan, but it was Pakistan that instead stopped the trade with India.
ट्रेड हमने तो बंद नहीं किया, जो किया तो उनके प्रशासन ने जो 2019 में जो निर्णय लिए गए कि भारत के साथ व्यापार नहीं करना, वो उनके साइड से था। तो हमारा जो ये इस मुद्दा के बारे में हमारी जो चिंता जो थी शुरू से, हमारा हित था कि हमें MFN स्टेटस मिले, कि हम पाकिस्तान को MFN स्टेटस देते थे, वो हमको देते नहीं थे। तो आज पिछले साल के बाद ऐसी कोई पाकिस्तान के साथ बैठ के ऐसी कोई बात नहीं हुई व्यापार के बारे में, ना उनके यहाँ से कोई ऐसा इनिशिएटिव आया है।
He also took a hard stand on arson attack on Consulate General of India in San Francisco on March 19, 2023 by a group of assailants who committed criminal trespass, damaged public property and attacked officials of the consulate. He said that accountability should be shown and those involved in the attack must be held responsible as it is a serious matter. And for more on this, we've been joined by our correspondent Akshay Dongre, who's joining us live from New Delhi. Hi Akshay, very good morning to you. First of all, Akshay, to begin with, how significant is this visit by External Affairs Minister S. Shankar, and what's your assessment of the same?
Well, it's quite important, Siddharth, the way Dr. S. Shankar, the Foreign Affairs Minister of India, is in the US. In fact, he was there in the first row as far as Trump inauguration is concerned. We have seen that how Dr. S. Shankar has also met the Foreign Secretary Marco Rubio, and this was one of the first meetings, in fact, the first meeting with any foreign minister. So that clearly goes on to show that how India is being prioritized when it comes to the relation between the two countries, and it is quite natural that way. With Donald Trump coming back into the White House, the US will have quite different strategies as far as global affairs is concerned. And when it comes to one of the most important area of engagement for the US, that is Indo-Pacific, and that remains Indo-Pacific. China in these years, especially under the administration, during the administration of Joe Biden, has made huge strides as far as trade is concerned, as far as military advancement. We have seen that the kind of infrastructure building that China has done, not just near the South China Sea, but also in the other parts of the South Asian region, in different parts of Indo-Pacific region. So that has become one of the biggest challenge for the US, and to tackle that, US will require India on its side as far as the engagements are concerned. Given the fact that it is one of the largest, it is the largest democracy in the region, it is a counterweight to China. Is how US sees it. But the meeting has been important because even India has to do a lot with in terms of trade, in terms of immigration, in terms of other kind of military equipment, and it will require help of the US as well. So it is a give and take relation between both the countries, and in fact, especially during Donald Trump's first administration, we have seen the kind of strides that have been made between the two countries. So it seems that both the countries are kind of desperate to resume the relationship exactly from the same footing where Donald Trump had left it during his first tenure.
Definitely, Akshay. And Dr. Jaishankar also raised India's concerns over prolonged visa delays. Tell us something about that.
Well, in fact, he did. In fact, the point that was made by Dr. Jaishankar was clearly that if the visa is delayed for several years, then the purpose of traveling gets defeated. For example, if you have to go for business tour, and if you don't get the visa, if you get visa 10 years later, then quite honestly, that visa is of no use to you, because you cannot expect what kind of losses that you will have because of the visa delays for a period of hypothetically, let's say 10 years. Similarly, for students,
also,
for
Akshay,
tourists,
it will also impact
kind of
business and travel both.
Of course, that is the point. In fact, even for the tourists, if you don't get a visa, then all the arrangements that you made to get visa, they all get to waste. Similarly, for students who get enrolled in a university and do not get visa on time, they cannot get enrolled into that university and continue with their education. So all of these issues have been concerning people who wanted to travel to the US legally, and clearly that's something that needs to be fixed to also curb illegal immigration, because many people who cannot get a visa legally, in desperation, many of them have taken the route of taking illegal visas, and that perhaps is also one of the core reasons of the illegal immigrations. But Dr. Jaishankar has also clearly stated that as far as the concerns of the US are concerned, they will also be addressed by the Indian side. And as you have rightly mentioned earlier during while speaking on this issue, Dr. Jaishankar or the Indian government has maintained that if the identity of illegal immigrants are proven beyond a doubt, they can be taken back and they will be taken back to the country. And India has no problem in doing that. So all of the issues, all of the concerns of the US have been addressed, and India has raised its concerns as well as far as legal migration is concerned.
All right, Akshay, we leave it there. Thank you so much. Meanwhile, continuing with his high-profile meetings, clearly showing that the Trump administration is prioritizing the bilateral relationship, External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar met Senator Mark Warner, who is the co-chair of the US Senate India Caucus. Two leaders discussed ways to further strengthen the bilateral partnership. Earlier, Jaishankar met Secretary of State Marco Rubio and National Security Advisor Mike Waltz in Washington, D.C. Time now for the stories from World Economic Forum in Davos. The annual meeting at Davos presents itself as a place where the world's political, business and financial leaders meet to solve big problems. Cutting across party lines, all Indian ministers, chief ministers and other state ministers spoke in one voice to promote India's growth story at Davos, as India has sent its largest ever delegation to the event. Even when they otherwise compete with each other for investments and other resources, the leaders spoke in unison, putting aside the competitive mindset. India Pavilion features 8 states, each seeking investment opportunities from executives of companies worldwide. India's Railways Minister Ashwini Vaishnav represented India's vision at the World Economic Forum 2025 in Davos, highlighting the global interest in Made in India products and emphasizing India's efforts to align with global best practices guided by PM Modi's vision to make India a global manufacturing hub. Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister and Chandrababu Naidu lauded Prime Minister Narendra Modi's leadership and stressed the need for everyone to work together to achieve double-digit growth for the country.
The brand of India has been reinforced. Under Honorable Prime Minister's leadership, India is very strong, well recognized by global community, global investors and all countries. That is the message. This Davos is giving some, not agenda, some ideas for the global community. All ideas already we are implementing. So we have to reinforce our execution.
Andhra Pradesh Minister Nara Lokesh elaborated on the wide range of projects launched in his state and said that strong states make strong nations.
We are building one of India's largest steel plant in the state of Andhra Pradesh. We're going to build one of the largest data centers in the state of Andhra Pradesh. TCS is building its new campus in the state of Andhra Pradesh. BPCL is doing its refinery in the state of Andhra Pradesh. NTPC is doing its green hydrogen project, first of its kind in India, in the state of Andhra Pradesh. But what you saw today is a very clear mandate. Strong states make strong nation, and India first is going to be a strategy here at Davos.
Various other international issues were also discussed in Davos. During one of the conversations, Syria's Foreign Minister Asad al-Shaibani said that the Syrian people shouldn't be punished for sanctions imposed during the rule of ousted President Bashar al-Assad.
The reason of these sanctions now, he's in Moscow. And if they want to punish him, he's in Moscow now, Bashar al-Assad. And the Syrian people shouldn't be punished. These sanctions were put on Syria because of the victims. And the victims now in the government.
Moldova's Prime Minister Dorin Rachin is also attending World Economic Forum in Davos. In an interview, Rachin accused Russia of trying to create instability in Moldova. He also said that the international community is ready to offer gas to end the energy crisis in Transnistria, but that solution hinges on Russia withdrawing its troops from the separatist region.
To the territory that is not controlled by Moldova, by the constitutional authorities, by Russia, the gas crisis is there and the energy crisis is there. But this gas and energy crisis altogether in the Transnistrian region is meant to create a security crisis. The alternative is for the Russia, for Gazprom, to honor its contract for gas delivery that they stopped on January 1st, 2025.
Still to come on DD India News Hour. Millions of devotees take holy dip at Triveni Sangam as Mahakumbh religious fervour continues. Political parties gearing up to woo voters in upcoming Delhi Assembly elections. Parakram Divas is being observed to honour Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose.
Timeless, boundless and infinite, the essence of faith, the soul of Sanatan culture, from the sacred confluence of Prayag, where divinity descends to earth. Witness the grandeur, the devotion, the magic, world's largest cultural and spiritual gathering, with over 450 million devotees expected to attend. Mahakumbh, India's greatest festival of faith. Exclusively on DD India.
You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj. Moving on to other stories, the death toll in Maharashtra's Jalgaon train incident risen to 12. The tragic incident was reported on Wednesday when some passengers of Pushpak Express got off the train after a false alarm was raised, were run over by another train coming from opposite direction on the adjacent tracks. Maharashtra Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis informed that the district administration is working in coordination with the railway administration and immediate arrangements are being made for the treatment of injured. Chief Minister had also announced Rs 5 lakh ex gratia for next kin of deceased. Railway Minister Ashwini Vaishnav has expressed deep grief over Jalgaon train accident. He has collected complete information from Railway Board Chief and other officials. He has also directed them for the adequate medical treatment of the injured. He has also expressed condolences to the deceased. Expressing grief over the loss of lives in the tragic incident, President on X said, and I quote, "The news of death of many passengers in the railway track accident in Jalgaon, Maharashtra is extremely painful. I express my deepest condolences to the bereaved families. I pray to God that all the injured passengers recover soon." Unquote. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on X wrote, and I quote, "Anguished by the tragic accident on the railway tracks in Jalgaon, Maharashtra, I extend my heartfelt condolences to the bereaved families and pray for the speedy recovery of all the injured. Authorities are providing all possible assistance to those affected." Unquote. The Republic Day Parade 2025 promises to be a grand showcase of India's cultural diversity and military strength, with special emphasis on commemorating 75 years since the enactment of the Constitution and the theme of Jan Bhagidari. 15 states of India and 10 departments of the Government of India will be showcasing their culture, folk dances and achievements this year on the 76th Republic Day.
On the Republic Day?
Yes, for the first time, India Meteorological Department has brought up a jhanki for display during Republic Day 2025. It is commemorating 150 years of establishment of IMD in 2025. It elucidates the past achievements, especially the recent decade, how the forecast has improved and helping people to reduce loss of life and property, and also all sectoral applications enabled progress in society and economic conditions.
Sir, what is the DRDO Jhanki depicting this year on the 76th Republic Day on the Kartavya Path?
So essentially we are depicting the best technologies which DRDO has developed over the years and how we mastered those technologies to transform into the devastating systems who could work as an integrated platform to provide the defense of our country. And that's why the theme is called Raksha Kavach. It is like a protection layer across our assets so that we will be able to negotiate, detect at the far distance our enemy attacks, and then we should be able to have the counterattacks.
This year the Union Territory of Ladakh trying to showcase the multi-ethnic, all the tribes of Ladakh and include all the famous products which are selling on high rate, like the government of India recently given G-Tech for the 3 components. One is handicraft, one is pashmina, and one is for the apricot.
This Jhanki of Jharkhand, we are focused on the main theme of the Jharkhand is Swarnim Jharkhand, a legacy of heritage and progress, in which we have focused Ratan Tata. We have given tribute to him as he has made industry in the Jamshedpur area, Saraikela, as well as we have focused on the education.
And now to all the latest from the Mahakumbh, the largest gathering of humans on the planet. On the 11th day of Mahakumbh, Prayagraj continues to welcome millions of devotees at Triveni Sangam, the world's largest religious gathering. Millions of devotees have taken a holy dip at the sacred confluence so far. Being held after 12 years, the Mahakumbh will continue in Prayagraj until February 26. Over its 45-day duration, this grand spiritual gathering is expected to draw more than 40 crore devotees, including pilgrims and visitors from across the globe. On Wednesday, Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath reviewed preparations for the Mauni Amavasya Amrit Snan to take place on January 29. Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath, along with Deputy CMs Keshav Prasad Maurya, Brijesh Patak and other cabinet ministers took a holy dip in Triveni Sangam during the ongoing Mahakumbh in Prayagraj. The young generation can be seen enjoying the festival of Mahakumbh as they immerse themselves in the evolving concept of spiritualism and divinity. Well, now let's take a look at this report to know what exactly is attracting the Gen Z to the Mahakumbh festival. Take a look.
The Mahakumbh festival is currently underway in Uttar Pradesh's Prayagraj, and one can witness the participation of devotees walking in from all sectors of life, all parts of the world, and the participation of all age groups as well. And interestingly, the Gen Z are feeling a greater and divine connect with the once in 144 years event that brings them here to take the holy dip.
So many youngsters and many people have come here from across the country, and they are really enjoying the facilities being provided at the Arel Ghat. Have you taken the holy snan?
Yes, we have taken the holy snan from here.
Yes. And when we talk about the arrangements here, are you finding it?
Everything is very well managed, and we enjoy a lot here.
And very interestingly, many youngsters are coming here to take the holy dip. Why is it so important for all the age groups to have the vibrations of Mahakumbh?
Because of the new generation has known about our culture, and it is come from the 144 years ago. So many people have come here to know what the reason 144 reason कि हम लोग यहाँ पे क्यों आ रहे हैं, इसलिए यहाँ पे.
Have you taken the holy snan? Yes. You enjoyed it? And also when we talk about the importance of holy snan, any message that you would like to give to the Gen Z here?
Everyone please come and take here for bath.
They've come all the way from Mumbai to take the holy snan, and they really enjoyed it. With camera person Shiv Suman, this is Deepika.
The young generation calls this an opportune moment for themselves and express the desire to connect with the higher self.
As this occasion is once in a lifetime moment, the arrangements are very best. It's up to very best. There are so many arrangements. Means see the Swachhata. Lakhs of people are coming here, and not a single piece of dust is we can see anywhere. I appreciate the Yogi Sarkar and the Modi Sarkar what they have done for this Mahakumbh Mela.
Not only this, pilgrims and influencers are sharing their vibrant journeys, while content creators highlight the festival's significance.
All arrangements are good. Everybody should visit here, and this is the place where 1 crore plus Hindus meet at one place. I think nobody can match this religion plus.
Mahakumbh, the festival of faith and devotion, provides a perfect opportunity to embrace spiritualism and Indian culture.
Facilities, entertainment, security, and the purpose of life. You'll get everything on the various ghats of Prayagraj during the Mahakumbh, the Mega Kumbh Mela 2025. With camera person Shiv Suman, this is Deepika reporting for DD India from Prayagraj Kumbh.
All right, and DD India correspondent Deepika Mehto joins us live from Prayagraj. Hi Deepika, a very good morning to you. Tell us, how's the mood in the world's largest religious gathering on earth?
Good morning, Siddharth. We are right now present at one of the ghats, which is the Yamuna Ghat of Mahakumbh 2025. Now, interestingly, the weather is playing its role. It's really foggy today morning, and the visibility was very low since morning, since the early morning when the daylight came into play. And right now, behind me, you can see that how the visibility is playing its part, and we are moving closer to the Mauni Amavasya, which is the major Amrit Snan, which is expected to take place at Mahakumbh 2025. But the enthusiasm remains unbeaten of all the devotees here. More than 9 crore 24 lakh holy dips have been taken so far. Till yesterday itself, if we talk about yesterday's figure, 24 lakh people have taken the holy dip. So the enthusiasm of the devotees is really, really high, not only of the Indian descent, of the Indian culture, but also from the foreign grounds as well. Siddharth.
All right, thank you so much. We leave it there, Deepika. Updates now on Delhi Assembly polls. The run-up to the Assembly elections scheduled to be held on February 5 has seen political parties leaving no stones unturned to woo voters and gain a leg up against their rivals. While welfare measures are seen as the biggest factor behind the ruling Aam Aadmi Party's victory in the national capital in the last 2 elections, other political parties has also lined up several promises that mirror the schemes. Bharatiya Janata Party President JP Nadda to hold rallies in the national capital, while Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister and BJP leader Yogi Adityanath will kickstart his election campaigning in the Union Territory. Today, India commemorates the birth anniversary of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, a revolutionary leader whose relentless struggle against British colonial rule made him a symbol of bravery and nationalism. His legacy continues to inspire generations. Let's take a look at this report.
Subhash Chandra Bose was born on January 23, 1897 in Cuttack, Odisha. A visionary leader, Bose was instrumental in galvanizing the youth and organizing the Indian National Army to fight against British colonial rule. Popularly addressed as Netaji, Bose's leadership extended beyond borders as he united Indians across nations to join the cause of freedom. His efforts to seek international alliances and his role as the president of Indian National Congress in 1938 and 1939 solidified his place in history. Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose is one of India's most celebrated freedom fighters, known for his fiery patriotism and the slogan, "Give me blood, I will give you freedom." He still remains a symbol of courage, determination, and sacrifice in India's struggle for independence. On this day, citizens across the nation remember Bose's vision of a free and self-reliant India. From school children to political leaders, tributes pour in, honoring his life and legacy. As India continues to grow as a global power, the ideals of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose serve as a guiding light for the nation's progress. His words, Freedom is not given, it is taken, continue to resonate deeply in the hearts of every Indian. Kriti Vadera's report for DD India.
Remembering Netaji on his birth anniversary, President Draupadi Murmu on X wrote, and I quote, "On the birth anniversary of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, observed as Parakram Divas, I pay my humble tribute to one of the greatest sons of Bharat Mata. Netaji is among the most resolute and inspiring figures in India's freedom struggle. His clarion call for freedom inspired millions of Indians to join the struggle for independence. Netaji's relentless determination to achieve freedom and his courageous leadership of Azad Hind Fauj will continue to inspire generations of Indians." Unquote. Still to come on DD India News Hour. UN chief warns of gang overrun in Haiti as calls for increased international support grow. Stay with us to know why TikTok is facing flack in some countries. Legal bid to free elderly elephants from Colorado Zoo fails in court.
There is an urgent need for sustainable solutions to environmental challenges. Let's explore the impact of individual effort in addressing some of the most pressing issues for our planet.
It's important to engage with policy. It's important to engage with the questions around us and to think beyond short-term fixes.
It's such a nice thing to do for the nature as well, and once you do it, you also feel like something you have accomplished.
I received training from them and started this business in 2019. So I thought it's good business if I can earn 30,000 rupees after investing just 2,000.
I've known Father Godson Samuel for over 4 years now. We used to discuss how to replace plastic with palm products in an innovative way that can be easily accepted by people.
You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj. A quick recap of headlines. India's External Affairs Minister S. Shankar, upbeat about India-US ties, says Trump administration prioritizing the bilateral relationship, building on old foundation. In India's Maharashtra, at least 12 persons dead as passengers jump off Pushpak Express after rumor of a fire run over by incoming Karnataka Express. US Congress approves Trump's promised crackdown on criminal migrant suspects. Aircrafts and 1,500 ground troops support being readied for deployment along the southern border. Thousands evacuated as new fast-growing fire ignites near Los Angeles. Weathermen warn of strong winds and dry, low humid conditions. And in sports, Abhishek Sharma's heroics led India to a comfortable 7-wicket win over England in first T20 International of 5-match series. The Republican-led US Congress gave final approval to the immigrant detention bill on Wednesday. The House passed the bill with 46 Democrats joining 217 Republicans. This is President Trump's first legislative victory since being sworn into office. The law passed the upper chamber in a comfortable 64-35 vote earlier this week after sailing through the House of Representatives. The bill will be the first legislation to be signed by Donald Trump in his second tenure as US president. Named after a woman who was killed by an undocumented immigrant, the Laken-Riley bill requires officials to detain undocumented immigrants who are charged, arrested or convicted with certain crimes. 2 amendments were added to the final version in the Senate to expand the scope of offences that could lead to detention. Just 2 days after President Donald Trump signed an executive order on immigration, White House said U.S. military will send 1,500 additional active duty troops to the border with Mexico. The additional troops include 500 Marines as well as Army helicopter crews and intelligence analysts. They will join 2,200 active duty troops and thousands of National Guard that were on the border prior to Trump's inauguration this week. These forces will work on the placement of physical barriers and other border missions. Acting Secretary of Defense Robert Salas said the department will provide military aircraft to support deportation flights of more than 5,000 immigrants held by U.S. authorities in El Paso, Texas and San Diego, California. During his first term, Republican Trump ordered 5,200 troops to help secure the border with Mexico. Democratic former President Joe Biden deployed active duty troops to the border as well. After Trump's crackdown on migrant entry to the U.S., hundreds of migrants now queued outside the government offices in northern Mexico with an aim to seek asylum in the North American nation. Amid fears of kidnapping and extortion, migrants say if there is no option to go to the United States, they will stay in Mexico if they get the permission. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio spoke with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on Wednesday to reiterate Washington's support for its ally, and the two also discussed Iran and Israeli hostages in Gaza. The call was Rubio's first with Israel since the administration of Republican President Donald Trump took office on Monday. Trump and his predecessor, former President Joe Biden, have both been supporters of Israel during its wars in Gaza and Lebanon. The State Department said in a statement that Rubio underscored that maintaining the United States' steadfast support for Israel is a top priority for Trump. Rubio told Netanyahu that Washington will continue to work tirelessly to help free the remaining hostages in Gaza. Colombian President Gustavo Petro arrived in Haiti's southeastern city of Jacmel on Wednesday in a rare visit by a foreign head of state as Haiti endures an extended conflict with armed gangs. Petro had a layover in the Dominican Republic, skirting Haiti's embattled capital, where several shootings against diplomatic vehicles were reported just this week. He met with top Haitian government officials, including Leslie Voltaire, who holds the Transitional Presidential Council's rotating presidency, in an engagement intended to strengthen bilateral ties. Voltaire said he wants to foment closer relations with South American nations in a bid to shore up security support as a UN-backed security mission fails to hold off the advances of the country's gangs. Colombia's Attorney General's office on Wednesday reissued arrest warrants for leaders of the National Liberation Army rebels who had been participating in peace talks as forced displacement caused by ELN attacks rose to 32,000 people. A sharp uptick in violence over the past week in the Catatumbo region has thrown an already fraught effort by President Gustavo Petro to end 6 decades of crisis and caused the most pronounced humanitarian catastrophe in Colombia in recent years. Meanwhile, United Nations Chief Antonio Guterres warned in a report on Wednesday that Haiti's capital could become overrun by criminal gangs if international community does not step up aid to UN-backed security mission there. Guterres said more money, equipment and personnel are needed for the Kenya-led international force. Haiti's Foreign Minister Jean-Victor Howell Jean-Baptiste, speaking at a meeting of the United Nations Security Council, said that the country faced major difficulties that threatened not just the population but also the very survival of the state.
However, despite this progress, Haiti continues to face major challenges that threaten more than ever the security of the population and the very survival of the state. Armed gang violence, marked by massacres, kidnappings, and systematic human rights violations, continues to be an existential form of violence.
The Venezuelan government has begun its first military and police exercises of the year with the aim of ensuring order and peace in the country. Some 150,000 military and police officers participate in exercises called Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, days after his swearing in for a third term in office amid allegations of electoral fraud. Maduro said that the operation seeks to increase order and internal peace in the country as well as to have full control over groups generating violence. The exercises, called Bolivarian Shield 2025, 150,000 soldiers are participating in 290 strategic operations and will conclude on Thursday. Ireland's incoming and outgoing Prime Ministers slammed the Irish Parliament's failure to formally elect Michael Martin as country's new leader. This comes amid chaotic scenes after opposition parties blocked the vote in protest at procedural speaking rights. Martin tells media, "What we witnessed today was the subversion of Irish constitution." The Parliament was forced to adjourn until Thursday after the Speaker twice suspended the session. Martin was scheduled to be appointed as Prime Minister for the second time ahead of a vote in the Irish Parliament. Martin, whose centre-right Fianna Fáil won the most seats at a general election in November, previously served as Prime Minister between 2020 and 2022. Albanian Prime Minister Edi Rama, who in December announced a year-long ban on TikTok, said this week he had held open and constructive talks with the social media platform. But following discussions with Christine Grahn, one of TikTok's top officials in Europe suggested a change of policy was possible. The blocking of the controversial social network came less than a month after a 14-year-old student was killed and another injured in a fight near a school in Tirana. The fight had developed from an online confrontation on social media. The killing sparked a debate in the country among parents, psychologists and educational institutions about the impact of social networks on young people. Prime Minister Rama's apparent about turn came 2 days after US President Donald Trump signed a decree suspending for 75 days a ban on TikTok, whose owners have been ordered by the US Congress to sell the platform or see it definitively barred from the country. South Sudan ordered internet providers to block social media platforms, including Facebook and TikTok, following violent protests over the deaths of its citizens last week. Demonstrations erupted in the capital Juba last week over reports that clashes in neighboring Sudan had killed 29 South Sudanese, but turned violent with people looting Sudanese-owned businesses. Anger spread across the impoverished nation, with officers opening fire to disperse crowds and later detaining hundreds of looters. Although the situation appeared to have calmed over weekend, the curfew officially remained in place. An earthquake of magnitude 5.9 struck off central Philippines on Thursday. According to the United States Geological Survey, an earthquake had a depth of 25 kilometers off the town of San Francisco in southern Leyte province. No casualties have been reported so far. However, huge cracks were observed on the walls of buildings and houses. Earthquakes are common in Philippines, which is located in the Pacific Ocean's Ring of Fire, where volcanic activity and earthquakes frequently occur. In Indonesia's central Java region, hundreds of rescue workers are searching through the mud and debris left by the landslide. The disaster has killed at least 19 people and left several others missing in the mountainous area. Triggered by intense rainfall, the landslide comes after flooding in November, which killed 27. Torrential rain in Pekalongan caused the landslide on Tuesday on a main road connecting the city with the tourist area, the Dieng Plateau. Heavy machinery was deployed to clear road access for search teams, and about 200 rescue personnel have been sent to help the rescue effort. A new fast-moving wildfire has erupted in Los Angeles County, exploding in size and forcing thousands of people to evacuate in a region already on edge after two deadly blazes. Fanned by strong, dry Santa Ana winds, ferocious flames were devouring hillsides near Castaic Lake, spreading rapidly to cover more than 8,000 acres in just a few hours. The new fire is burning north of the two mammoth blazes, which are still burning, that killed more than 24 people and destroyed thousands of structures. Helicopters and planes were on scene, dropping water and retardant on the blaze. Notably, even though January is the middle of the region's rainy season, Southern California has not seen any significant precipitation in around 8 months, leaving the countryside tinder dry. Let's take a look at other stories making news around the world. A recent legal bid to free 5 elderly African elephants from the Cheyenne Mountain Zoo in Colorado has failed after a panel of judges in Los Angeles ruled that the animals do not qualify for legal protections typically granted to humans under the state's habeas corpus laws. The case brought by the Non-Human Rights Project sought to have the 5 elephants released from the zoo and transferred to an elephant sanctuary where they could live more freely. A Belgian zoo recently welcomed a heartwarming addition to its animal family with the unveiling of a baby white rhino. White rhinos are listed as near threatened by the International Union for Conservation of Nature, with their numbers declining due to poaching and habitat loss. The birth of baby rhinos is seen as a hopeful sign for the species, as it contributes to the global efforts to preserve these magnificent creatures. Animals at Rio de Janeiro Zoo receive frozen treats to cope with the heat wave in Brazil as summer temperatures exceed 40 degrees Celsius these last days. Frozen treats made from a variety of fruits, vegetables and other ingredients suited to each species' dietary needs have become a popular part of the zoo's strategy. You're watching DD Indian News. Our time now for sport, and the Union Territory of Ladakh is all set to host the first leg of the 5th edition of the Khelo India Winter Games, scheduled from January 23rd to 27th this year in Leh. This marks the second time since the game's inception in 2020 that Ladakh will play host to the event. The second leg of the event will be held in Jammu and Kashmir in February.
The scenic region, known for its breathtaking landscapes and chilly winters, is ready to host a 5-day celebration of winter sports. This year's edition promises to be bigger and better, with ice hockey and speed skating competitions being the highlights.
I'm very excited to be a part of Khelo India Winter Games 2025, as it is happening in our city only, in Leh. So I'm so excited, and we have already prepared, and now we are looking for winning medals, and let's see how much it pays off our training and all.
428 athletes will compete in ice events, showcasing their skills and vying for glory against the backdrop of Ladakh's frozen beauty. In the Ladakh leg of the competition, 2 sports, ice hockey and speed skating, will be held at the ND Stadium, Gupuk Lake and Ladakh Scout Regimental Center Rink.
Alright, so I'm standing at the Gopuk Lake in Leh, where the Winter Games competition, Khelo India Winter Games competition will take place. And the best part about this lake is that this is the lake in summers, and it turns out to be the venue for the skating competition in winters. So you can see, so this is basically the natural ice, and this is the place where the large track competitions of Khelo India Winter Games 2025 will take place. So there are 2 competitions, short track competition in speed skating, and there's a large track competition also in speed skating. So here at this particular venue at the Gopuk Lake, large track competition will take place, and you can see the people are practicing also. The athletes who will be participating, they are practicing here, and we are moments away from Khelo India Winter Games 2025, and this is one of the venues where the competitions of Khelo India Winter Games 2025 will take place.
Local communities too are excited to be part of this grand sporting event, which not only promotes winter sports but also highlights Ladakh's unique cultural heritage and natural beauty.
Ice hockey has not remained just a sport in Ladakh. It has become the culture. We celebrate it as a tradition, as a culture. You see, that is why we bring them on the ice from very young age.
The event is also expected to provide a significant platform for young athletes to display their talents on a national stage, furthering the vision of making India a sporting powerhouse.
Khelo India Winter Games aims to encourage youth participation in sports, identify talent at the grassroots level, and put India on the global map of winter sports. This is the second year running that UT Ladakh will host Khelo India Winter Games. With cameraman Shubham Sharma, this is Abhishek Mahajan in Leh for DD India.
And DD India correspondent Abhishek Mahajan joins us live from Leh. Hi Abhishek, a very good morning to you. We just saw a wonderful report by you. I just want to ask you very quickly, how's the weather? I'm sure that it's biting cold there.
Yes, Siddharth, it is too cold, and it has started snowing also. And you can see the pristine views behind me. Leh, as we are aware, it is at the altitude of around 12,000 feet above the sea level. And as far as you talked about the weather, Siddharth, it is minus 18 right now, and it is very cold, and breathing rate also increases. That is the biggest challenge that is faced by the athletes also, because your body demands more oxygen. So Khelo India Winter Games will start today, and Dr. Mansukh Mandavia, Sports Minister, will declare the games open.
Tell us a little more about Khelo India Winter Games, Abhishek. How many competitions, how many athletes participating, what all are the games categories? This is what, if you can just tell us.
428 athletes in total, Siddharth. In the first leg, mind you, the Winter Games will be played in 2 legs. First leg is in Ladakh, where the ice events will take place, and the second leg will be played in Gulmarg, where the snow events will take place. And as far as the first leg of Ladakh is concerned, 428 athletes from 18 approximately states and union territories will be part of this event, and there is a team of army and there is ITBP team also. So in total, around 20 teams will be part of Khelo India Winter Games. And yes, like we said in the report also, it's a big opportunity for the youngsters. Mind you, Siddharth, just very quickly, in Asian Winter Games last time around, only 3 skaters were part of the Indian contingent, and now 41 skaters are there in the Asian Winter Games that will be held next month in February. That shows that India has been doing well in winter sports also, but yes, a lot of work has to be done. But yes, Khelo India Winter Games will start today, and 2 events, ice skating and ice hockey, will take place.
Definitely, Abhishek. Khelo India Winter Games starting from today. You keep sending us some good reports like you did, and also take care of yourself, as it's biting cold there, minus 18 like you've just mentioned. Moving on, Varun Chakravarti captured 3 wickets, and opener Abhishek Sharma scored a blistering half-century to power India to a convincing 7-wicket win over England in the first of the 5-match T20 series on Wednesday. Chasing 133, India easily dominated the game and took 1-0 lead. Abhishek Sharma played a fiery knock, 79 of 34 balls, while Sanju Samson scored 26 of 20 deliveries as India chased down the target in just 12.5 overs. Apart from them, Tilak Verma also scored 19 not out of 16 deliveries. Earlier, Varun Chakravarti scalped 3 wickets, while Arshdeep Singh, Hardik Pandya and Akshar Patel took 2 wickets each. For England, Josh Butler scored 68 of 44 deliveries. The second of the 5-match series will take place on Saturday. In the latest ICC rankings released on Wednesday, India's pace spearhead Jasprit Bumrah retained his position as the #1 test bowler, while Ravindra Jadeja continued to lead the all-rounders category. Bumrah, who achieved the highest ever ICC rating for an Indian bowler at 907 points in January, now holds a career-best 908 points. The test all-rounders rankings saw no changes in the top 10, with Jadeja holding out the top spot, followed by South Africa's Marco Jansen and Bangladesh's Mehdi Hassan. In the Women's Hockey India League, Bengal Tigers defeated hapless Delhi SG Pipers 2-0 at the Birsa Munda Stadium in Rourkela. Catherine Mullen scored twice, keeping Bengal in the hunt for a spot in the final, as they have 7 points on the board from 5 matches. On the other hand, Delhi will finish the inaugural edition of tournament at the bottom of the table, having just 4 points out of 5 matches. Borussia Dortmund have sacked head coach Nuri Sahin in wake of Tuesday's Champions League loss at Bologna. The 2-1 loss on Tuesday was club's 4th successive defeat in all competitions. Later on Wednesday, Dortmund announced that under-19 coach Mike Tulberg would take over coaching duties on interim basis. Dortmund placed 10th in the Bundesliga points table at 20 points behind the leaders Bayern Munich. That's all for this edition of DD India News Hour. But let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms, and you can scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News Hour.